I got some general market questions. Obviously gold really hot. I've got to ask. You've got banks saying gold could be between 25 and 3K by the end of next year. What's your take? And is 2,500 that crazy? Is 3K that crazy? What's your
Uh,
idea?
the idea of where the price of gold can go is is one of those questions that everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
I personally think that the price of gold is going to stay in this range. I think 2000 on a consistent basis is not unreasonable. Can you get to 2500? That's a possibility. I guess looking at it in a long-term basis, it depends on what central banks and a lot of the governments are going to be doing with regard to fiscal stimulus and uh, printing dollars. There's a lot of paper money. So what's the real value of it? I think that you have to also look at what's going to happen with the U.S. dollar because gold is priced in U.S. dollars. So if the dollar remains strong, um, then the price of gold will be based on what people think is going to happen with regard to inflation.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors that are involved in it. I think that you're looking at it saying relatively in this range of $2,000.
Oh, interesting. You're one of few that say, oh, like, look, it'll probably trade in a 2,000 range for a while. Hey, a lot of people that don't see that as a great thing. I mean, it's an amazing thing for gold and junior companies. Obviously makes mining extremely profitable, at least at current prices. What's your kind of understanding of that? You should have some insight.
Well, I think that a lot of the gold miners now are making you know good money. Um, I think that it like any other business, gold mining is about the cash flow and about what you can mine it for. You know, you have a built-in cost of production, if you want to look at it in that sense, and what you can sell it for. I think that as an explorer, we have sort of a different outlook in it. We're trying to develop something, trying to de-risk it. So in the end, get to a point where we can make a decision to move to the next step every time.
Yeah. No, interesting. Well, cool. I'm at just a good little insight piece. Obviously, kind of gold's extremely hot. I'm curious, Jeff, how much investing do you do in the junior space?
Well, actually, I do a fair amount of investing in the junior space. You tend to put your money where your mouth is, and a lot of times, so you're looking at projects and you're trying to assess whether they're good. But I think that there's a certain amount of money that you have to put into sort of higher risk ones, and it, there's a certain obviously risk reward that
Yeah.
you have to
So
look at.
curious, being you're the CEO of a mining company, and this is great. I'm happy you said that you do some investing. So a bunch of questions. Number one, what do you look for? What would be red flags? And then going on from that, there's a big question right now. This is kind of drilling period right now is about to end for mining companies. They're coming out with assays. Would you be an investor before or after assays? But I know, like, bunch of questions. Let's start out first with what do you look for in a junior?
Well, I mean, obviously, you'd like to buy before assays. As they say, buy on mystery, sell on history. That's an adage that's been around. I like to look at a project and decide whether it has potential. For with a lot of factors involved. Do they have funding to do the drilling that they're going to do? To are they getting good results, et cetera, et cetera. And there are a lot of companies out there that do really well, that I've bought stock in,
Yeah.
on those principles. And you got to look at too that the management is qualified.
Huh, interesting. No, all good points, and a lot of new gold investors, right? So I think it's awesome that you're able to shed some light. Gold doing well. Warren Buffett moving money in there. Obviously what that means for gold, but we'll chat about him in a second. Going back to kind of some of your investing, what are red flags that when you're going through a company, you're doing your due diligence, and you see, oh, this, what is that? What's the red flag?
Um, there's not just any sort of one red flag that you have to look at. You have to do your due diligence, look at, every little factor. It is a risky business, and you have to accept a certain amount of risk. But what you have to look at is, past history of people, a good project in a good area. Sometimes things won't pan out, but if you're in a good area, then you can have a benefit from other people doing work too.
Yeah.
So yeah, as specific red flags, there are lots of different little things that you have to look at. And one of the main things too is to have a little bit of liquidity that you can actually be able to buy and sell your stock. If it's held too tight, it's a problem.